وذكر فإن الذكرى تنفع المؤمنين.
الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وموالاه. أما بعد, one of the Sahaba, before he became Muslim, he came to Medina and he was a Nasrani, he was a Christian. He even had the cross on his neck. He heard the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam reciting the ayah in Surah Tawbah, اتخذوا أحبارهم ورهبانهم أربابا من دون الله والمسيح ابن مريم وما أمروا إلا ليعبدوا إلها واحدا لا إله إلا هو سبحانه عما يشركون. Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned in this verse that the Nasara, the Christians, they took their ahbar wa ruhban, the people of knowledge among them and their worshippers, they took them as gods besides Allah. They took them arbaban, ay aliha, beside Allah Azza wa Jal. Adi ibn Hatim, when he heard this, and Allah mentioned in the ayah that they worship, the Nasara worship those people among them, the religious people, the knowledgeable among them and the worshippers, they took them aliha. He said, Lasna na'budhum, we don't worship them. He said, we don't worship them. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked him a question. If they make something lawful, which Allah make unlawful, don't you consider it lawful? He said, yes. If they make unlawful what Allah make lawful, don't you make it lawful? Both ways. Maybe I mixed it. He said, yes. Means these religious people from Christians, their priests and the like, if they make for them lawful what Allah made unlawful, and they know it, Allah make unlawful, but this religious leader make it lawful, they used to believe being lawful. Something Allah made lawful, if those people make for them unlawful, they used to consider to be unlawful. He sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, فَتِلْكَ عِبَادَتُهُ, that's their worship. That's their worship. This hadith is collected by Imam Tirmidhi and Shaykh Albani authenticated it. There are lessons in this hadith. First, that believing someone besides Allah Azza wa Jal, someone other than Allah, can make unlawful what Allah make lawful. Or the opposite is taking that one as God. Is taking him ilah, God, arbab, Rabb. Even if the person don't consider it to be God, even if he doesn't consider him to deserve worship, even if he doesn't call and consider that act an act of worship, the consideration of this individual doesn't change anything from the reality that he took that one God, that he worship him. Because Adi ibn Hatim, he denied that they worship their religious leaders. But Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam affirmed that they worship, as Allah mentioned in the verse. This is a refutation and an answer to those today who call the dead. They call in a dead human being, whether it is a prophet or a companion or Ahlul Bayt, family members of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, like Hussein or Ali, or Sheikh like Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jailani or Sheikh Ahmed Tijani and the like. They call them, they ask them help, they ask them to intercede for them with Allah. When they are told this is worship, Allah forbade to invoke anyone but Him. قُلْ إِنَّمَا أَدْعُو رَبِّي, say I only invoke my Lord. وَلَا أُشْرِكُ بِهِ أَحَدًا وَلَا تَدْعُ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ, don't call, don't invoke other than Allah. They say this is not worship. We don't believe these to be gods. We believe they are righteous people. They are righteous people. And what we're doing is not worship. It is called tawassul. It's a means of getting close to Allah Azza wa Jal. Unlike the mushrikeen at the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they were considering those they used to worship as Allah gods. And they used to affirm that they worship them. They say they are different. This hadith is answer to them. It's not what you consider, it's the reality. If you turn the act of worship to anyone other than Allah, and biggest one is invocation, is supplication, is a prayer, you indeed worship that one. Allah said in Quran, أَفَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَ وَهَوَاهُ. In this verse, Allah mentioned some people, they take their desires as their God. They worship their hawa, their desire. Who from the people says that he worship himself? He worship his desire. You don't find anyone. But Allah mentioned some people, they do worship their ahwa, what their soul desires. So the person can worship someone he doesn't consider to be God. He may do an act of worship he doesn't consider to be an act of worship. He may be in a shirk and he doesn't consider to be in a shirk. What's being considered is what the religion considered to be a shirk is a shirk. Another benefit, this kind of making things lawful and unlawful, it is called a shirku tashri'i. It's legislative shirk. It is different when the government or the judge or anyone allows to drink alcohol. Two people who drink alcohol, one give the other one, hand it to the alcohol. Another one, he sell the alcohol to him. Another one, he carry. He allowed to drink alcohol. This is not what this is about. These two Muslims who one drinking alcohol, another one giving to him, they both believe drinking alcohol is unlawful. It is haram. They committing sin. They disobeying Allah. They're subject to punishment. This is different. Ashirku tashri'i. Ashirku tashri'i is to believe that the one beside Allah can make what Allah make unlawful lawful. Why? Because of giving the status of legislating, of making what Allah make unlawful lawful. Because it is believed these are from Allah. It is believed this is doing this in the name of Allah. And he is qualified to do that. Allah gave him that power to make what Allah make unlawful lawful. This aqidah, it is the one which is the shirku tashri'i. It's not qawanin wad'iyah. It's not somebody to write down and to say drinking alcohol is lawful, means it can be permitted, can be drink. While he believes it is unlawful religiously, it's haram. And the one who drink, he believes it's unlawful, it's haram. It is different. This country now, they say if you have ID and you're 21 years old, you can buy alcohol, for instance. If someone will billah reach that age, a Muslim, and he get the ID, and he drink based on that, he's permitted by the system now. While believing is haram, he is committing sin. He is different than what those other people are doing it. These two issues, people, they mix it. These two issues, the people, they mix it. So, and the same thing, what Quraysh used to do. إنما النسيء زيادة في الكفر يضل به الذين كفروا يحلونه عاما ويحرمونه عاما. Allah made 4 months holy, sacred, not to fight. Quraysh mushrikeen, they believe that from the religion of Prophet Ibrahim. And then what happens? Sometimes they want to fight one of these months. They want to disobey Allah and fight. They want to fight. Their religious leaders, what they do for them? They say, this month fight. Then they pick up another month from the year and they give the holy, the sacred that month. And people believe that they didn't disobey Allah Azza wa Jal because their religious leader told them it is okay. Yes, Allah made this month holy, not to fight, but we can fight this and we give the status and the honor of that month to another month. And they believe. This is shirku tashri'i. This is making what Allah make lawful unlawful. Unlike the one who does things while he believes he is a sinner, he is disobedient to Allah Azza wa Jal. He, as I give the example, he go to the gas station, he buy the alcohol because Georgia system, they allow that. If he is in Minnesota, for instance, they have different law, he's not doing it. It doesn't mean that this person, he worship those who make the system. As long as he believe they are disobedient to Allah, he believe he is disobedient to Allah, it's just a desire. Otherwise, this goes back to the aqidah, to the creed. It's not just because of the action. It's not just because of doing action. Because everyone who commit a major sin, he steal, he drink alcohol, he does, in action he make it lawful. That's why he's doing it. He give alcohol to somebody else, drink alcohol. He allow that. He permit that. But that action, no one says it's kufr but khawarij. Only khawarij group are saying that's kufr. Ahl Sunnah, they say it's not kufr. Because he believes drinking alcohol is sin. What he's doing is disobedient to Allah. He is sinful. So he is not a kafir. So the same thing, a judge or a government judging by other than the rule of Allah, it depends. If the judge believes the rule of Allah is the truth, what he's doing is disobedient, he's a sinner. He's not a kafir. And if the people who follow him believe that this person, judge, he's disobedient to Allah, and they disobeying Allah, and they subject to the punishment of Allah, and they do because of desire, then this is a major sin. Again, in this hadith, Nasalullah salamata wal afiyah, the person may worship someone while he doesn't believe to be God, while he doesn't consider his action an act of worship, but in the religion, it is that. Just like the one who changed the name of the riba, he give it a good name, an interest, and he give it a beautiful name. He make the going along with the women, foreigner women, touching, kissing, girlfriend. He called the alcohol spiritual drinking. This don't change anything from the reality. This is riba, this is zina, this is drinking alcohol. The same thing when it's coming to shirk, changing the name, calling it tawassul, calling it connection, doesn't change the reality that you turn your heart to other than Allah. You worship other than Allah. With the all other complications. When you call Sheikh Jailani, or you call Ali radiallahu anhu, or you call Fatima, what do you mean? Do they hear you? If you believe they hear you, you give the description of Allah Azza wa Jal. It is only Allah who hears all the language, who hears everybody. When you say Sheikh Jailani hears you, Ali hears you, where are you? You're in Stone Mountain, someone in Mecca, someone in London, someone in airplane, someone in Turkey, different language, different accent, different time, the same time, all of them. And all he hears them. This is giving the description of Allah to someone else. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sifatu al-rububiyyah. So with other also deviations, this is very important because out there are wal-'iyadu billah, deviated people who mislead the Muslims from the right path, calling them to call the dead, giving them beautiful names. And it is sufficient if we go back to the Quran, speech of Allah, from beginning to the end, you don't find Allah ever mention any prophet, any righteous person who ever called someone other than him. All the Quran, Allahumma, Ya Rabbi, Rabbi, that's what you find. And those people, they say you can call. You can say Jailani, you can say Ya Ali, Madad Ya Rasulullah. Where do you brought that from? We ask Allah al-Karim to give us good ending. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad. Sorry I took to your time. Today the class is cancelled.